Wink. Talk sports, love sports, enjoy sports. Tonight we're going to be discussing Will Fuller and what he brings to the Houston Texans offense, and does he make it more deadly versus when he's not in the lineup. I'm going to allow a few of you guys go ahead and get it here before we go ahead and start tonight's discussion. This video is probably going to be between 15 and 20 minutes long, so you guys make sure y'all get in here quick so we can discuss tonight's topic. Make sure y'all like this video, share it on your social media platforms, and as always, show that love when you get love back. Back again, yeah, we had to do another one real quick, Eric. Yeah, I've been away for far too long. It's time to pump these videos out. Glad y'all can make it. Maybe the notifications for this video might be getting sent out a little faster than they did on the last video. So I'm pretty sure on the last video, a lot of people gonna have to go back and rewatch it. So that video is not that long. I kept it to about like 25 minutes, so you won't get any more hour, 50-minute, 40-minute live streams unless the topic is extremely juicy. Or we just got so many people in here where we just got to keep on live streaming. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do the roll call. Shout out to Eric, Jesus, Tasha Tenny, what's going on? T Flores, what it do? Oh man, if y'all didn't see Tenny's video, make sure when y'all done watching this live stream, go watch Tenny's video. It's about 15-16 minutes long. It's his viewpoint of how he sees the season going as it stands right now and what he sees it doing in the future. And it was a funny ass video, especially when he got on some particular character that we don't really mess with. But if y'all been in the sauce, you already know what that's about. But we ain't gonna spend too much time on that. We just want to make sure that y'all get all y'all love. Julius Harris, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into another topic tonight. We want to discuss Will Fuller, what he brings to the Houston Texans offense, and is Bill O'Brien a capable play caller if he's not in the lineup? This is a thing that really needs to be said. I mentioned it in my last video, so I want to elaborate that and give that a full topic on its own. Because there's things that I've seen in this offense since he's been here that they can't do when he's in the lineup healthy. Y'all make sure y'all share these videos. Make sure y'all hit that like button. I'm waiting for a few more people to go ahead and come in here. It seemed like it was sending out notifications real quick when the video first started. I don't know why the hell it's slowing down. Y'all let me know how the volume and if the video has any lag or anything like that. I believe so, T. Flores. I really believe so. I won't say even more so than DeAndre Hopkins, but I'm willing to put him on the same plane because they have to focus on him a whole lot more. But you can't even take DeAndre Hopkins away regardless of who's on the field for the Houston Texans because he's just that damn good. He's proven that he's the number one offense, and even with or without Will Fuller, he's going to produce, and regardless of the head coach or the quarterback. So it's not even oh yeah, shout out to Josh Beard, man. He just retweeted my damn my thing on Twitter. So y'all make sure y'all go show Josh Beard more love. I see all these damn I see it's a lot of people falling out of the stream. Y'all let me know how the stream is looking. Is it laggy or what? The offense feeds off Fuller, the space he creates. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to get into it. I'm just going to wait for a few more people to go ahead and get in here first because I don't like... I'm good? All right, cool. I always want to make sure the stream is right because if it's not, I'll just end up restarting it to where I don't have any errors. He's O'Brien safety valve for his offense. Yeah, no lag here. Stream look good to me. Man, shout out to Josh Beard, man. He made a stream. He made a live stream. We just started. We're only 4 minutes in, and we got to have, radio host, formerly Sports 6 Radio 610. If y'all heard of him, man's doing great content. He's providing exactly what we provide on the sauce. And man, when y'all go back and y'all go look at his videos, he doesn't have that many videos, so y'all gonna have a lot that y'all gonna be able to catch up on very swiftly. Make sure y'all shout out to Josh Beard and go check out, especially the video he had with Clowney and Cal McNair. Those are must sees. You have to see those videos first before you can get into anything else, because it pertains to the Houston Texans and this abysmal coaching staff and front office. But now you get to hear how we gonna talk right now, and you get to hear it live, and there's no problem, Josh. You got all the love, and trust me, yeah, I already went on there. I see them subscribers, and trust me, the sauce already loves what you got, what you bringing to the table, and trust me, as long as you don't end up switching up, you ain't gonna have no problems out of us, and we gonna end up probably making great content together. Whenever you need me, holla at me. You already got my information on Twitter. Add me on Skype. We can just chop it up just on offline, just to talk about this bullshit ass team. Whenever you feel like it. We can hit me up tomorrow if you want. But let's go ahead and get into the discussion tonight, and we're gonna talk about how important Will Fuller is to this football team. Now, we've all seen that he has I don't even know the words to describe of how well he measures with Deshaun Watson. Him and DeAndre Hopkins are already everything you would really need in a complete receiving core if they're fully healthy. But what he is to Bill O'Brien and Deshaun Watson is out of this world. The fact that the man, in his first 2 seasons, he didn't even play the first couple of games. Last year, he played the second game against Tennessee. As soon as he gets in the Tennessee game, and let's go ahead and make a quick point. Why is it that Houston Texans receivers, especially the better receivers, when it comes to Andre Johnson, Will Fuller, DeAndre Hopkins, they eat on the Tennessee Titans? If you have a fantasy team, it is in your best interest, and I will be giving out fantasy football advice and how to build your fantasy football team because I'm just that goddamn good. But make sure whenever we play against the Tennessee Titans, whether it's in Tennessee or in Houston, you play Will Fuller, Deshaun Watson, and DeAndre Hopkins if you don't have all those guys on your football team. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into that because I'm going to end up creating a fantasy football league. And I'm going to probably extend it out to 12 people because I don't really like having 12 people because that's just too much for me. I like to keep it at 10. But we'll go ahead and I'll put out that information when the time comes once the last game is over with for the preseason. Trill, what's going on? Dre D, what's good? Yeah, now, Will Fuller, man. Will Fuller he makes Bill O'Brien's play calling so much better each and every time this man is on the field. If you notice the common theme, the plays, you see a lot more crossing routes. You see a lot more deep digs. You see a lot more of those yardages that really opens up the middle of the field and opens it up downfield. Like, it's a lot of things that they really can't do. They try to do, but it's absolutely ridiculous what they are able to provide on the football field when Will Fuller is on it. When the man is healthy, the relationship he has with Deshaun Watson, as I said, it can't be elaborated enough, man, because the man has constantly gone out game after game, and the cohesion that they have, the man just goes out and catches touchdowns like it's no tomorrow. He gets big chunk plays. He catches the ball at a higher rate than he ever did after his rookie season, and an emphasis on catching the ball with his hands. I'm not sure if he got his eyes checked because it seemed to me in his rookie season, it seemed that he had depth perception. Like the ball was too close, so he didn't really know how to gauge the timing. Or maybe it was just because Brock Osweiler was trash. I'm really to consider the fact that since he's got a competent quarterback in Deshaun Watson, he has not really dropped the ball, and he's come up clutch. Very much since since Deshaun Watson has been the quarterback. Y'all give me just a second. I gotta check something real quick. Give me just a second. Sorry about that. Just had to take a quick little intermission. Kids walking around. My little daughter, she was just sleepwalking and shit, So you got to make sure she right. But yeah, shout out to Xanax. Shout out to Kevin Jones, Sherman Hill, everybody that's in the building right now. Y'all make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Back to my point. He opens up so much down the field, and he gets past every single player in this league that matters. When I saw what he did against Seattle, even though that game is going to be going on 2 years now, it's a year and a half ago, the fact that man is able to get past Shaquille Griffin, Sherman, Chancellor, Earl Thomas, nobody's safe in this league. Just like that very same season, but DeAndre Hopkins was proving it before then. No corner is safe against DeAndre Hopkins. When I saw what he did to Patrick Peterson, Sherman, all of those guys in back-to-back games, Jimmy Smith, it doesn't matter who you put on this guy. He's going to expose them for what they really are. So the fact that he gets great competition against the guys that he already has in the AFC South, which happens to be Boyer and Ramsey, he has more than enough competition where when he goes out, he's going to be able to eat on anybody. The only team, because of the way that they try to take him out of the game, that he's had some sort of problem with, but he still makes big plays, is the New England Patriots. But that's to be expected because Bill O'Brien always nuts up when that time comes. Darren, what's going on? He's better. I mean, I can say a younger Fitzgerald probably had a little bit more speed, but I hate when people say that DeAndre Hopkins doesn't have the speed because you don't catch 70-yard touchdowns, 60-yard touchdowns if you don't have the speed. And he's caught quite a few of them in his time. So that's not really the point of the conversation because we want to make sure that we stick it to Will Fuller and what he really does. He opens up the running game. He's honestly an underrated run blocker. Like I've seen him run block, and actually, kind of take dudes out of the play. So that's an underrated part of his game that I've been paying attention to over the last couple of years, and nobody's talking about it, but you're going to hear it tonight on Third Coast Sports TV. We're going to always give you the things that you don't truly think about on this show and on South Sports, and we just want to keep you guys' minds open. But like I was saying, as far as Bill O'Brien is concerned, Bill O'Brien needs this man on this team more than anybody. If for some reason that Will Fuller or a player of Will Fuller's stature is to ever stay on this team while he's the coach of the Houston Texans, he always has to have this caliber of player with that type of speed and playmaking ability and the cohesion that he has with Deshaun Watson. You can't get rid of that. And if he's thinking about what he can do, man, you just don't. Bill O'Brien is out of here way quicker than his next code. I just feel like if he doesn't find a way to make sure that if he's not in a game, make sure when he does play games, especially in games like I feel like in specific games that we're going to play in the season, Will Fuller has to get the totes a little bit more than DeAndre Hopkins. And the reason why is because you have to have your confidence so instilled in Will Fuller and your other options besides DeAndre Hopkins, because we already know you have all the confidence in the world in DeAndre Hopkins to go make a play against anybody. Triple coverage, double coverage, does not matter against any DB in this league. But what you need to seriously rely on is your secondary options, which happen to be Kiki, Jordan Thomas, Jordan Akins, your running backs, whoever you decide to take their place, which in the video I just put out, if you didn't catch it. And Deontay Foreman is not going to be the starter because he's not that great in pass pro in a couple of days of pads. But somehow Bill O'Brien thinks that's a feasible option for him to start the season off with Lamar Miller. But y'all can go check that video out and how we covered that basis. But when it comes back to Will Fuller, the more you rely on Will Fuller, the more dangerous you even make it for DeAndre Hopkins and the rest of the secondary and the rest of the options that we have. And you also put the defenses in the situations where they have to play man coverage. If a team plays man coverage against the Houston Texans with Deshaun Watson's legs and his rollout ability and his ability to be able to make plays at the biggest levels against the better teams in the league, this team becomes the best offense in the league if you have guys like Kiki and Will Fuller taking taking their game to a totally different level. If you do that, man, look, playing zone, you can forget about it. Trying to play single high, you can forget about it. You can forget about it. Dudes are gonna have to be playing cover 6. They're gonna be having to play cover 4. They're gonna have to make sure that their pass rush is phenomenal against the Houston Texans. They're gonna have to play spy the whole game, which they kind of do in a sense, but it's not always, to the extent that they should play when they play against Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans. The running game is going to prove to be another aspect, but as I stated, Will Fuller, man, if they start throwing more slants, and if you're able to get big chunk plays like 15, 20 yards with slants from Will Fuller, and if you run more curl routes, more shallow crosses, routes like that, the medium routes, that's what Will Fuller's able to provide, and the man is going to be able to make plays all over the field. He's already shown the ability to get touchdown after touchdown if he's in the game healthy. That man is healthy. Man, dude is phenomenal, man. No, it would be, phenomenal. They would be phenomenal. If you have Kiki, if you have Will Fuller playing like how I'm explaining them playing. I'm talking about what we know we've seen when Bill O'Brien has been able to call the plays, and as long as the defense doesn't shit the bed, which I'm going to get into that in a second, because that's the only reason we've lost games when Bill O'Brien has had Will Fuller, Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins on the field when they were playing lights out on offense, and the only reason they didn't close the games out was because of poor execution from the defense, and the defense couldn't hold up their end of the bargain. Say what you will, it's a team game, but the defense, special teams has let this team down. But the special teams, I feel, is going to take another step forward this season after what they did last season. Hopefully, they don't shit the bed as well, and hopefully, Kaimi Fairbairn and Trevor Daniels can end up building off of the seasons that they had last year because they played phenomenally. As far as Will Fuller has the skill set to be one of the best number 2 receivers in the league, he just has to stay healthy to prove it. Health is his only issue. You take health away, he's a number 1 for most teams. If you take health away, he's the best number 2 that DeAndre Hopkins could ever have. But he leaves this team. He proves over the next 2 years that he can stay healthy. He gets that health bug out of his way. I don't see too many dudes being able to run on a week-in, week-out basis. They can't run with him now, and he hasn't even been the healthiest. Seeing the plays and seeing how he's mixing up veteran corners off the line in training camp, like guys like Jonathan Joseph, the fact that he's able to do that, it's absolutely ridiculous. Oh, I was referring to your comment on the opponent's pass rush. Okay. Well, they're going to have to be. Honestly, a pass rush with them playing man, they're going to have to be, because you're going to have to bring 4 to 5 man pressures at all time if they're going to play man. I don't really think you're going to have 6 in coverage at all times, and somebody's going to have to be bracketed. It's going to have to be. Will Fuller can change the game of football if he stays healthy. He's that type of player. He has that type of speed. And the fact that he has the quarterback with DeAndre Hopkins to go along with him as the best number 1 in the game right now. To be honest, bro, it's no team who can stop this team only if the defense doesn't shit the bed. Situational awareness isn't the problem. Red zone issues aren't the problem, because we can go goal to goal like nobody else. If one thing that Bill O'Brien is very good at, he can get us goal to goal 20-20. We can do that like it's nobody's business. But when it comes to what happens once we get inside that 20-yard red zone, the man has shown the ability. He has not been able to get it done consistently. He's shown plays, but he gets in his own head, and I don't think he really knows how to create space in a lot of lanes, and that's why I feel that he needed to relegate his play calling duties to somebody else who's more astute than he is. You do that instead of giving the job to guys like Tim Kelly, who's already your scapegoat. You already took the responsibilities away from him and didn't even give him a chance to call plays against somebody who matters in this football league. You didn't even give Tim Kelly the duties you didn't even give him a chance to even play against the Packers in the preseason. before you even made that assessment. The same way you're doing with Deontay Foreman by saying he's not doing good in pass pro. Nigga, they just got in pads 2 days ago. And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying he's making premature decisions that haven't even called for him to make that decision. And then y'all wonder why I've been saying over the past few months that I don't think Deontay Foreman is his cup of tea, and I think he's going to be the 4th consecutive 3rd round pick that gets cut. If you see a guy like Jay Ajayi or somebody like that end up on this football team, expect Deontay Foreman to be gone. He will start for somebody else, and he will be the talent that we all knew he was, that he couldn't be with the Houston Texans. And it would be unfortunate, once again. He always lets a player go that they're developing that, they lose patience with, and he gets cut. Somebody mentioned Vincent Smith on the stream the other night, and he's the type of player that will be cut this season. Yeah, he showed that he was able to do some things the season prior, but then they'll end up bringing somebody in who doesn't really wow you, but he'll end up being replaced over a player that you have on this roster who was working towards being successful. And the fact that you have Deshaun Watson as your quarterback, the man is washing himself up to make sure that he's not the head coach of the Houston Texans going into this next season. It doesn't make any sense to me, but I want to hear some of you guys' thoughts, about this team. I'm finna go back and look at some of you guys' comments to see what you're saying. And Bob does overthink shit. He overthinks it all the time. It's no sense for him to even do that when you have the roster that you have. You can run quick ass. You don't run angle routes. You always want to throw tunnel screens and jailbreak screens to fucking DeAndre Hopkins, which he does have the ability to take home because he's already shown that against one of the better elite defenses in the league. But why don't you give those to Kiki? Why don't you throw any tight ends those type of plays because tight end screens, every time I've seen a tight end screen, it's always going for like 30 plus yards. I have never seen a tight end screen when people have utilized them on various teams around the league that they haven't been extremely efficient. And I just feel he doesn't, even though he motions, he doesn't motion enough. I don't think he motions the right people. He doesn't get the matchups he wants because most of the routes that he calls, the plays are developing too far down the field when you don't have the O-line to even call the plays that you're calling. But you're expecting the same success. And it's just like I said, you're working your muscles, you're working everything else, but you don't eat right, and then you wonder why you don't have abs. You don't do what you're supposed to do across the board. You don't eat right. You don't do everything in your power to make sure that this team is where they're supposed to be. And for all these fans who are out here clamoring saying that Bill O'Brien is the guy to take him there and he's a good coach, how? He shit the bed every single season. His offenses have not been over 20. I forgot what. I don't think he's been above 20th in no season. It seemed that way due to some of the production that we've had, in the 14 season, Deshaun's rookie season. Those were probably the best offensive seasons he's had. Outside of that, what has he really done? Yeah, Deshaun Watson threw for 4,000 yards, but it didn't even feel like that. It didn't feel like he had 30 touchdowns last season. The season before, it was just like, we knew what we had. We knew what we were elevating towards. But then he immediately goes from what works and he calls this bullshit because he thinks he's smarter than every other defensive coordinator and offensive mind in this league, and he's proven nothing. The common denominator in 2 of the losses when you were in New England is that you lost. You were there. You guys, you were there on the 18-0 season. They lose with Randy Moss. Then you got Gronk, who just got drafted, along with Wes Welker, a whole bunch of other guys, a great defense, and then you lose again to Eli Manning on some humbug shit 2 times in a row. And that happened on your watch both times you were in that organization. It's something about you. You're not the winner you claim you are. You're from a city that provides winners. Yeah, you're from a city that has championships, but you, myself, sir, you are not a winner. And it would be a shame for you to not get Will Fuller more involved in this football game like you should, as well as Kiki Kuti. You get these guys more involved. You lean on them a little bit more than you lean on DeAndre Hopkins. I guarantee you, your offense will be something that that this league can't handle. True enough, he has to stay healthy, but him getting hurt is not his fault. But I want to get to some of you guys' comments, man. I've been going on for a little bit. I want to see what you guys are talking about. If y'all like the convo, y'all get in the comment section. Tell me how y'all liking it right now. If I'm spitting some real shit, if I'm off topic, if y'all feel some kind of way, man, y'all tell me how y'all feeling, man. But Rack was looking washed last season, especially with how he used Whitney Merciless. Oh, absolutely. Jose House, 50 Mayo, what's good, homie? Mariochi, who's got a better offense play. Bro, it's the Patriots and the Colts. It's not even. Why did you even have to ask me that question? If Bill O'Brien is not going to go to what the plays that he was calling for Deshaun Watson in this offense, and with Deshaun Watson as a rookie, then there's no point even going to this season with the talent that you have right now, because that offense that you called last season is not going to be able to win and pull out games, and your defense is going to have to step its game up tremendously. They cannot shit the bed in crunch time decisions against these better quarterbacks that we will be playing. We're playing against Keenan Allen. We're playing against Mike Williams. We're playing against Tyreek Hill. We're playing against Julian Edelman. We're playing against so many guys. We're playing against Ebron. We're playing against Kelsey. We're playing against, I mean, bro, I can just go on and on and on and on. It's absolutely ridiculous. Who? Why you say Bella Thorne not beautiful? Who the hell is Bella Thorne? I don't even know who that is. Who is that? Get Belichick, Watson in the patch, make another 20-year run. Oh yeah. If for some reason Cal McNair was to take this Texans team as it stands right now, bro, yeah, easily 20 years. Easily. Because the faces he made in the game when we played him in week 3, his rookie season, he was just looking like, yo, what the fuck? Like, that's why he was doing everything he could to pull DeAndre Hopkins. Don't think, dudes have secretly been behind the scenes trying to get guys like DeAndre Hopkins and all that. It's absolutely ridiculous. And on Twitter, I don't know who that is. On Twitter, you're going to have to tag me in it, bro. I don't know. I don't know exactly what you're talking about. We need an innovative OC to fully use the weapons available on offense. Absolutely. And Bill O'Brien is just not that guy. And if any of the Houston Texans players happen to be listening, if this shit, makes it towards your way, tell me where we wrong, because y'all constantly losing games y'all know y'all should be winning. You can't say you believe in him, but then this man turns around and he doesn't put the ball in you guys' hands when the game counts. That shit bothers me, and I know it bothers y'all as players. We're going to call the players out on this shit too, because the players should be holding their head coach accountable for the shit that he does in the position he constantly puts them in. He calls bullshit plays. He runs when he doesn't need to. He runs when he's constantly getting yardage, negative yardage on specific type of runs. He's not using his running backs the way that he should. He's making no emphasis outside of the season. He had Brock Osweiler to get the ball to any tight end on his football team. You have probably the best tight end core that you've had since you've been here as a Houston Texans head coach, along with the receivers and running back tandem to go along with your quarterback, but you do nothing serious to protect him. But somehow you shitted off 2 GMs' careers, and come to find out, you're not the one who doesn't want Jadeveon Clowney. You're the one. That's absolutely ridiculous. And shout out to Josh Beard for that nugget. You're the one who doesn't want him. Not Brian Gaine. It's absolutely ridiculous, man. And what do you mentor Trill? I said that last year. Mariota both won both games, won us. Do you see Colin Cowherd's running about 50? Bro, I could care less about what anybody's saying. Yeah, I see way too many of y'all fans worrying about dumb shit that don't even really concern us. Y'all worrying about placements for players or where the players put them. Nobody else put these guys where the players play. So obviously the players think that Baker is a little bit better than Deshaun Watson. So y'all need to be charging up the players and not NFL Network and Colin Cowherd and all these dudes who do all of these shows. You know, Nick Perry, all of these guys that be on NFL, they be on NFL Network doing the top 100. They the ones who vote for the players to be where they're at. So it's obvious the players think that he's a spot better. Nobody else makes the determination but the players. The players decided. And that's who they decided. So we need, yes, really. I said it a week ago after Game got fired. I need my credit, man. About what? What you need your credit on? Dizzle, is she beautiful though? Deshaun will never reach his full potential under Bob. No, he won't. He basically said that Watson is the most disrespected player in the league. That Baker isn't better compared to their numbers. Yeah, I mean, he rides for Deshaun Watson. About Clowney, what you mean? What'd you say about Clowney? You talking about Bill O'Brien? I don't remember that, but I'm pretty sure. But if you say you said it, I believe it. I mean, I ain't finna dispute you. You know, you say a whole lot of shit, a lot of it that everybody can keep up with. If it wasn't for Game not wanting to resign him, oh yeah, if you said that, man, hey, kudos, shout out to you, shout out to Jay Dizzle, man, for always keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? He's a professor for a reason. So you saw something we didn't see, but at the end of the day, I still think it was some sort of collective because. Regardless, they still didn't agree on a price. They still couldn't agree to what would it take. And I hate people who keep constantly using his health against him. The man got held out of a game last year in week 2 for some bullshit that he wasn't even suffering from. And the man has missed less games than the best player on defense in J.J. Watt. He's missed 8 less games than J.J. Watt in the 2 back-to-back seasons. So it makes no sense the fact that Jadeveon Clowney can take over when you go down in week 3 after a 27-0 loss that you haven't really contributed to. We go to the playoffs without you, and we end up becoming a number 1 defense with Jadeveon Clowney and not J.J. Watt. The highest J.J. Watt ever got us to was 2, and that was in 2012. No, not even in 2012. When he was a rookie on the 2011 season, he wasn't even a serious contributor on that football team. And it's crazy to know that the 2012 Houston Texans defense was 7th because they played like they were every bit of a top 5, top 3 defense. But we started sustaining injuries. From the middle linebacker spot was a serious problem, and corners were going down. So. It is what it is. If it was Game, they would agree to a contract after his firing, but we all see otherwise. And yeah, this is how I know Cal has something to go. So it's really, the guys really pulling the strings behind this whole Clowney situation is definitely Cal and O'Brien. Because, and it's easy to see, and shout out to Josh Beard for this nugget because I forgot all about this, but he brought it back to my attention when I was listening to his video the other day, and he was saying like that, I forgot what he said he was willing to trade or give away to make sure that Johnny Manziel was the number 1 overall pick that season over Jadeveon Clowney. So it's clear they have something against this man. They feel that he should be doing something more than what he's already providing, which I understand. Okay, everybody wants him to have more sacks. You think he doesn't want more sacks? You think these dudes want to go out and get 22 sacks a season? Trust me, every player does. But to sit here and act like it's just that easy, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm so glad that you brought that point up because we had some sort of faith, but then, because at first when he took over, it sounded like, oh, shit was getting ready to roll. We were on the Cal train, but that shit clearly, quickly dissipated within 2-3 weeks. We were done with him. We were kind of like, yo, what is he doing? And when I saw the fact that he wasn't willing to spend any money in the offseason, it looks to me right now that Brian Game wasn't allowed to spend any money. It's looking that way. I'm not saying it that way. I still have my reservations. And Brian Game was still trash regardless. He deserved to get fired. I understand you said on your show a couple of days ago when I listened to it, you said that, it was premature. No, it wasn't. He never deserved to be here from the get-go. He had his options. He was pretty much on board, and he was just as mediocre as Bill O'Brien and Cal McNair are. And the fact that you can bring somebody back, within 10 months of them being fired who were already in your organization prior, and you felt that he deserved to be a GM over your football team when he couldn't even do something for a lesser team in the Bills, and they had better draft capital than the Houston Texans. I see no reason to make this man a GM in an organization, regardless if his record was 11-5 against the weakest schedule in the league. So we're going to hold fans accountable. We're going to hold this team accountable. And we're going to make sure that dudes are always getting their just due when they do something right. Because I haven't always bashed Bill O'Brien. When Bill O'Brien has made in-game adjustments, when he has had to do things that are noticeable, to the untrained eye, I have given this man his credit. But more often than not, he's the whole reason we were in this shitty situation in the first place. So why am I going to give the man on some credit for a situation he created? I'm not finna charge somebody else to say, hey, can you raise my kids when I'm the one who said I wanted them? What kind of man is that? I'm not seriously going to dump my problems off. And why is it under your regime every single year, it's always a series or overhaul of assistant coaches on your staff who get fired? Be for real. Be for real. What's going on? Kevin Jones. Oh, yeah, I'm missing some of y'all. I mean, I'm going on a tangent right now. But it's just like every single year, dudes get fired under you. You switch outside of last year, which you don't have to go to the team. Do you realize every single year before this year, you have switched your special teams coordinators? Your special teams coordinators, they always get out of here. They have never seen the light of day after a season. Ozzie Newsome, gone. You get old, dude, so it's a lot of things that have been happening on this football team for years under your tutelage. And at the end of the day, you are not equipped to get it done. I think you lack respect, in real life, and that's why you take it out on your job. I have said this constantly. I don't think you get any respect at home. I've took it there. I really don't think, because somebody in your stature really can't come to work, behave the way you do, act smug, and then when somebody asks you a hard question, you get in your feelings. Like, what are you really hiding from? What are you hiding from? How is a question really perturbed you? I understand you just lost, but then you want to sit here and you want to make excuses as to why you don't sacrifice everything on the line to make sure that you're doing the best. You can never say you gave your best with the Houston Texans. Ever. I can't tell. You can't even beat quarterbacks like Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett is 2-0 against you against two separate teams in back-to-back seasons. You're not that special. He beat you 27-0 when Brady was not even on the field serving the suspension for a 4-game suspension on a short week, and we were supposed to have all the momentum, and we had one of the better defenses in the game at that point in time, and you get blown out 27-0 on Thursday Night Football. How dare you? You're not who you think you are. You're not who you think you are, sir. You can't talk football. You think you know football. You don't. You think because you went to Brown, you're smarter than everybody. He wasn't even a third-string quarterback. He was a linebacker at Brown. He wasn't even an offensive player. He played linebacker. I don't know if you're talking about somebody else or if I missed something in the conversation, but Xanax, if you're saying that Bill O'Brien was a quarterback, no, he wasn't. He was a fucking linebacker. And he was a sloppy linebacker at that. He can be a better deep threat than Tyreek Hill. Yeah, he'd definitely be on that level, if not better, because of health. Because when you really take Will Fuller's, like, he's been catching some hard catches since he's been here. Like, Will Fuller has caught some passes I just couldn't believe he could catch. I'm just like, whoa, this is the dude that they kept talking about was a body catcher. Because once I seen Will Fuller, I like Will Fuller from the get-go. I understand people had their reservations against him, and true enough, in a couple of games, he didn't catch the ball, and it was this and that. But like I say, I really think it was a vision problem. I don't really think it was a hands problem. I really think he wasn't able to judge the ball accurately, and then it didn't help that fucking Brock Osweiler was your quarterback. I mean, when you got somebody as inaccurate as Brock Osweiler, you saw how DeAndre Hopkins went from 1,500 yards to 900 yards the very next season with 4 touchdowns. If that isn't evidence to support that claim, then I don't know what else it's going to take. People on Sports Radio 610 were going as far as to say in that season that DeAndre Hopkins wasn't working hard. I heard people on Radio 610 who I will not say their names, said verbatim, dudes that I respect, said that he was not working hard, that he was not trying on that route. He just gave up. I heard people say that on the radio. But this is what the conduit to the fans, and this is what they have the fans thinking, because fans in the city of Houston don't think outside the box, unlike some of us. And we're trying to open up the minds and show you that it's a different way to think when it comes to this football team, and you should only give them the support that they earned. Hey man, I mean, we had a healthy we haven't had a healthy team in years, so there goes that great season. Yeah, buddy, Wink, you're dead on point with Butthole Chan O'Brien. He is unnecessarily arrogant and yes, a smug ass Ivy League graduate of the Brown, as you mentioned. Yeah, man. The man really thinks because he went to Brown, bro, nobody gives a fuck. Who talks about Brown when we talk Ivy League? Like, it's one of the small Ivies. Go to Stanford. Why didn't you go to Princeton? Yale or some shit like that. Like, I mean, okay. Brown, I mean, this probably is a great school. I'm not going to down Brown. You see what I just did there. But, I mean, it's not talked about when it's talked to, like, the upper echelon of the Ivy League schools, supposedly, But I just don't feel like with someone with that amount of education, learning something like football and being able to make football work and being able to reach your football team, you would know how to equate that into wins on the football field. And I just feel like you don't resonate with the football teams because your identity is some other team's identity. You constantly talk about the New England Patriots. Anytime something comes up, you always try to get New England Patriots players, but it seems like dudes leave the Texans, go to the Patriots, and actually win Super Bowls. Hence, John Simon and Steven Anderson just won a Super Bowl. But I digress. The Houston Texans have the most champions in the football as it stands right now. When they left, they went to other teams, and they've been vastly better because they've learned that Bill O'Brien can't get it done, but these other teams can. So you don't even take your own advice. You sit here and talk about it's a copycat league. You sit here and say that you want this, you want that, but you make none of it happen because you're too stubborn, because you believe and you suck the cock of Bill Belichick. Like, honestly, I think you just lay open with your mouth at night and you just wait for Bill to show up and just dump it off in your throat, because it's no way that a grown man is so obsessed with another man and the way that he does things, but you use none of it to improve your own situation, that you constantly shit the bed, and when you're in the presence of Bill Belichick, you fold like cards. You constantly fold. You are never, outside of the game we played in the playoffs, and that was mainly because the defense, like, you weren't even in the game. Like, when you look at the overall score of that game, and that game didn't even feel like we lost by 18 or 16 or whatever we lost to in that game, it felt way closer, and it was only because Brock Osweiler was so trash and he was throwing picks at the very wrong time, and the defense was just got gassed at the end. And like, how could they keep that pass rush up that they had throughout the game? Nathan Peterman, come on, bro, stop. Come on, just stop it. Just stop. Maria, do you watch the Texans? There was a lot of chances for us to score in the red zone, but we couldn't score because O'Brien wanted an empty set at the 1 yard line. Yeah, exactly. Like, you want to run empty when you should be running 21 personnel. If you talk to any offensive lineman in the National Football League, they'll all tell you running 21 personnel, being a shit like, the I formation, if they're running strong, if they're running weak or something like that. Hell, if they even running pistol. It's much easier to block than you are in any shotgun situation. So he's not even going to take the information, and he's not even going to talk to his team and say it was what makes it easier. And he's been shown what it works. But I know the reason why he won't go back to what he did when Deshaun Watson was a rookie. And it's because they couldn't close out games. And it's like, oh yeah, we were an exciting team, but we were getting losses. So why would I go back to that when we didn't win this way? And he felt because he squeaked by on an easy schedule last year to 11-5, he thinks that validates his point. Sorry, Bill, you're wrong. Nobody was talking about the Houston Texans last season. Everybody was shitting on the Houston Texans last season. You know why? Because the team before had heart. They played with heart throughout the whole season. Regardless, even when Tom Savage went down, who had no confidence going into the season because he knew Deshaun Watson was going to take his place sooner than later, and it only took a half of football before he had showed the world, and he was on NFL Turning Point talking to Deshaun Watson in the Seahawks game, saying, "I don't know how you do it, bro. I really don't. I would have tore a ligament in my leg trying to pull that shit off." And that's because the man knew. And when he took the job over, he knew he had big shoes to fill, and he knew the Houston Texans wouldn't be nowhere near the caliber of team that they would. And why is it that you've been running a specific offense throughout the entire season, one that Tom Savage was even a part of, because he still had to practice this shit too, and you immediately revert back to what you were doing with Brock Osweiler the season before? That just means you're a joke. You don't believe in your own product, and why should the Houston Texans fans, or your players for that matter? But I'm going to bring this video to a close. I appreciate everybody that came through. I see it was a lot more of y'all that came through tonight. I didn't get to everybody's question, but I see what you guys were saying. I'm probably going to end up taking some of these things from a video, posted in my next video, and we'll discuss all the points. And if I didn't get to your question, please, just anything that you said that I didn't specifically ask, as soon as this video posts, put it in the comment section. I will get back at you directly. So make sure you guys keep on supporting, share these videos on any of your social platforms. What's going on, Joshua Grant? Share this, tell a friend, tell these guys about the sauce, tell them about everybody that's involved in Houston Texans content and is trying to drive this team to a better place. But I'm going to bring the video to a close. This is Third Coast Sports TV. Wink in the building. Talk sports, love sports, enjoy sports. And I'm out.